Hi, this is Nicole E. And in my last video, I discussed my father's funeral. Anyhow, in this video, I'm going to go into some other things. And before I go into those things, what I wanted to say in regards to the last video was that I failed to mention that my ex did not even go to my father's funeral to support me at all. He made an excuse because he didn't want to be there. Okay, well, when you are in a relationship with somebody, whether it's new or old, if their parent dies, you should probably go to the funeral and not make some excuse. And that should have been another red flag for me, but I wasn't listening to myself at the time. So, in this issue, I'm going to talk about after the funeral happened. After the funeral happened and I sent my family home and things started to settle down, my family started asking questions about the fact that I received a vehicle from him. And my family is very poor and I am the main supporter of them. So I didn't know how to explain that. And because they asked questions about it, and I told him they asked questions about it, he made them into like they were gold diggers and I was a gold digger, and he started going into this rant and telling me that my family was no good. And several weeks went by and I was driving out to his house, and all of a sudden he said that my daughter's boyfriend and I were having sex together. And I thought, well, isn't that messed up? Why would someone think that? My daughter's boyfriend lived in the house, and she was taking half of the payments, and they had lived with me for years. It wasn't like he had just moved in. And my ex said, well, how would you like it if I was living with a 23-year-old girl? And I was like, what are you talking about? That's my daughter's boyfriend. Well, you're in the bathroom and he can see you, and you must be walking around naked in the house. And all of these accusations started happening, and he was telling me I'm having sex with him when nobody's around. And I said, you are out of your mind. And I said, you need to get a grip, or I just don't think this is going to work. So, anyhow, we had a fight about that, and I thought it was very weird, you know. And he asked me to kick Paul out, and I said, I'm not kicking Paul out. That is not my job. It is Leela's job to kick Paul out. It's up to her to kick him out because that's her boyfriend, and this is our household, and we made commitments to each other, and we're not going to put up with you telling us that. So he stopped trying for a little while to get me to kick Paul out, and he waited, and he became nice again and started romancing me again. And then about a month later, it was the same thing. You need to kick Paul out. So I just didn't get it. Okay, you don't kick your daughter's boyfriend out of the house for no reason. And I just basically told him, you need to stop attacking my family or we're just not going to be together. So he stopped for a while, and then we were merrily happily getting along, and I would visit him. And I would go into his house, and we'd sit down and have dinner, and we'd have just probably one of the nicest times I had in my life, with anybody. And then he started talking about something that really bothered me, which was money. I never asked him about money he just told me, okay? I wasn't trying to get into anything, and eventually what came out was that he had a lot of money, and that he had a very high income. I'm not going to say how much, okay? Um, and he would go grandiosely show me his accounts, and I never asked to see them. I wasn't there for money. I didn't care how much money did he have or anything else like that. I just didn't care. And eventually what came out to him from him was that he was worth so much, and he really wasn't lying about it. I saw the accounts, okay? But that's not why I wanted to be with him. I just wanted someone to love me, and and then he said to me, well, I can take care of you if you ever need me to. And I thought, wow, that's amazing. But I didn't need money because I was working. And eventually, after a little time went by, I told him that, eventually I'd like to be married and be with someone and love them and have a partner for the rest of my life. And of course, he said, I would too. I mean, my wife passed away a couple years ago, and I just, I don't know how I'm going to live the rest of my life without someone and all this other nonsense. And I really believed that he wanted to be with someone. And so I was online one day, and I looked at this beautiful ring, and I was going to buy it for myself. It wasn't about being married or anything. So I go to look at the accounts, and I don't have enough money for it. So I say, well, I'll just get it with my next paycheck. Well, I didn't know that he went on the phone and bought the ring. And then I come back, and he said, I bought the ring. And I said, you did? And he said, it can be your engagement ring. And I was like, okay, like that. And I didn't really believe him because I just couldn't believe that. And this video is getting quite long, so in our next video, we're going to talk about rushing things into marriage. Thank you, and God bless.